dream of the Mawita'mk Society started in the early 80s. Grand Chief Ben Sylliboy and friends lobbied for the rights of Mi'kmaq people with disabilities. In 2001, Mawita'mk Society was formed. Many discussions were held with the province and federal departments of Health and Indian Affairs. The government did not want to take responsibility for Aboriginal people with disabilities. We took our cause to the Canadian Human Rights Commission. As part of those discussions, the federal government agreed to fund the home and the provincial government would license and inspect the facility. In 2006, we broke ground on Niganin and it opened in 2007. It is the first group home for Mi'kmaq people with disabilities and supportive apartment complex on a First Nations community for First Nations peoples. It is also one of the first registered charitable societies in a Mi'kmaq community.
Mawita'mk was started by all of our, Marie and I, and Margaret, Teresa, my sister, and we got sitting one night at Teresa's place, my elder sister, and she was concerned about Johnny and Nancy, who's going to look after them when they're gone. Teresa wasn't comfortable to send them after her. She wanted to try to get a home built in the communities.
Mawita'mk means being together or coming together in the Mi'kmaq language. Niganin is our community home, our group home for Mi'kmaq people with disabilities. It's staffed 24 hours, and it can house up to 5 individuals within that setting.
Like Mawita'mk, they let me use the phones, and they let me communicate with my family whenever I want to.
Our supported apartment complex is unique in itself because usually the group home and the supported apartments aren't next door to one another, and ours are. But our supported apartments can house up to 5 individuals as well. And currently we have 2 people living in our supported apartments, and we've got 4 people living in our group home, Niganin.
Or the Mawita'mk itself is not run by the chief and council. It's run by the community.
What the board takes great pride in of our homes is that we're run by a board of directors that are completely volunteers. The Mawita'mk approach to what we do is a First Nations approach. It's just to have the that cultural balance and sensitivity to the people that live here.
Here we look at everything, and you have the take care of the physical and the emotional, the mental and the spiritual. So that's what I really like about Mawita'mk.
It's heartwarming how the community comes together to help the individuals that may be deemed less fortunate than the norm of the society, but they're actually more fortunate than the norm of the society because everybody's sheltering them and taking care of them. And I think that's what's really important about our approach here.
For my pastimes, I usually play video games or write poetry or read books.
With our upcoming project, we are hoping to enhance the lives of 10 to 12 Mi'kmaq people in need of supports and engage them in our cafe storefront and our craft program. So this kind of opens the doors to not only the full-time residents of Mawita'mk, but also we can extend it to day programs for people that are currently living at home or in other communities who wish to come here for a couple hours a week to share the work experience. Our home isn't just for Wagaba First Nations individuals, it's for the Mi'kmaq Nation at large, and that's across the Atlantic region. So we have Newfoundland and New Brunswick and PEI and Nova Scotia, Quebec and partial Maine. If I had the opportunity to talk to somebody in another community that was looking for supports for their loved one or family member to reside here, I'd like to let them know that it's safe. We try to model our homes as close as possible to a First Nations home, and the people that work here are culturally sensitive. Our employees understand what a Mi'kmaq home is because they live in a Mi'kmaq home themselves. It is their culture. If you cannot be in your own community, why not be in a community that mirrors where you live now?
if there wasn't this place, I don't know, where would they go?
I get my own privacy and everything. I do my exercise in the morning. I'm not telling anybody. I love it here.
And I got to be strong.